Okay. It's an extremely lethal malignant virus discovered in IBF. The mortality rate after onset is over 85%.
T フブラウの潜伏期間は2日から7日。
The incubation period is 2 to 7 days.
主な症状は発熱、悪寒、頭痛、筋肉痛、食欲不振などに始まり、この辺は飛ばすわね。
The main symptoms include fever, chills, headache, muscle aches, loss of appetite, and so on. Let's skip this part.
治療法。
Treatment, here it is.
現在、EBF 内で治療方法を研究中。
Currently researching treatment methods within
特
IBF.
定の界面生物の持つバクテリアを抽出して作られたオレンジアンプルに症状を緩和する効果があることを確認。
Conferred reduction of symptoms with use of an orange ampule derived from the marine organism bacteria.
高圧酸素治療装置を使い、白血球の殺菌作用を増大させ、症状をある程度緩和することを確認。
Conferred reduction in symptoms with use of high-pressure oxygen therapy chamber, which increases white blood cell count.
現在、完全な治療法は確立されておらず。
Currently, a cure has not been developed. A cure hasn't been found. For a moment, everything goes dark before me.
完全に治す方法は見つからなかったけど、オレンジアンプル、高圧酸素治療装置を試してみましょう。
They haven't found a way to cure it completely, but let's try the orange ampule and the high-pressure oxygen therapy chamber. Yeah, you're right. We split up to search for an orange vial. I'm gonna just start saying vial. It's just the Japanese is ampule. It's unclear why they would just change a borrowed word. Maybe because English speakers don't use the word ampule very often. But if you don't have to translate it, why do you translate it? When Pee-Pee barks at a shelf, we find some. Is this it? I see multiple glass vials all containing orange liquid. There are 5 of them. I quickly hand the vials to you. How do we use them?
わかるわ。先を折って開封して、そのまま中身を注射するのよ。
I know how. You take the top off the vial and fill a syringe with the contents. You immediately fills the syringe with the vial's contents and gently injects it into Coco's arm. A few minutes pass. Coco's breathing gradually normalizes and her tremors subside. Why do you
体
waste
調はあ
time?
る程度持ち直したようね。
Her condition seems to have improved somewhat. What a relief. I heave a sigh. Yu's eyes are watery. The boy bites his lip, looks down, and sighs. Tsugumi silently watches over Coco. Hey, Pee-Pee, you're such a good dog. Coco seems to be okay. I praise Pee-Pee for finding the vials. Pee-Pee sniffs towards one of the 3 hyperbaric chambers. Pee-Pee, is this one of those high-pressure oxygen therapy chambers you mentioned? I peer into the chamber. Whoa. There's a person inside. It's a man in his 40s wearing a blood-stained lab coat. He appears to be sleeping. There's a plate on his chest reading TY. They forget to switch the initials to Americanize that? Oh my lowercase god. Which may be better to do if it's in like that context. I don't know. Hey, there's something in here.
どうやら先客がいたようね。白衣を着ているってことは、ここの研究員かしら。
Looks like someone else got here before us. With that lab coat, he might have been a researcher here.
この人が入っているのが高圧酸素治療装置のようね。クラナリー手伝って。ここをこの中に入れるから。
This must be a high-pressure oxygen therapy chamber. Takeshi, help me. We should put Coco into one of the empty ones. Okay. You press the button next to the chamber and the hatch opens. We gently place Coco inside. You presses the button again and the chamber lid slides shut. Does anyone know how to operate it?
マニュアルを見つけたわ。血まみれの。多分、彼をここに入れた人が見ていたようね。
I found the manual. It's covered in blood. The person who put him in here was probably looking at it. Tsugumi, manual in hand, operates the terminal.
高圧酸素治療。セット。
High pressure oxygen therapy. Secto. Data appears on this, which is I had to use the Japanese voice actor to do this. It would be weird if Sugui said it like that because Sugui supposedly knows English. So she would go Seto. But data appears on the chamber's control screen, indicating that it is functioning properly.
これで大丈夫なはずよ。
Things should be okay now. Got it. The control panel displays the vital signs of the person inside the hyperbaric chamber. Yeah, it's kind of like one of the things that's odd, that's kind of like annoying about this text, but it's kind of understandable why it is, where Tsugumi probably knows English pretty well, and some German too, possibly, but like the way she talks is just like purely like someone who's just Japanese and whatever. It's like, it doesn't, like, the accent is complete, right? Blood pressure, pulse, respiration. Even facial expressions are visible through the transparent hatch. We watch the chambers for a few minutes. Coco and the unnamed researcher. Both are gradually returning to normal.
よかった。
What a relief.
ええ。よかったわ。
Yes, I'm really glad. Yeah. We managed to make it in time. Everyone lets out a sigh of relief. We've now temporarily averted the worst case scenario. I don't know, I'm not interrupting this, but like thinking about it. So, the rate at which you could survive is 15%, right? And I'm trying to do something in my life that has a success rate even lower than that. But at least if I fail, I don't die. Anyway, so count the amount of people here that we know or got infected with it. Okay, we have the researcher, which is Yuki. Not Yuki, Yoiki. So we have Yoiki. We have the kid. We have Coco. We have Takeshi. And we have you. Tsugumi doesn't really count because when they made that statistic, they probably didn't have, like, the Cure. That probably doesn't include the Cure carriers. So she would kind of mess the statistics up, right? Survivor rate for Cure carriers, we actually don't know what that is. Tsugumi easily survives, but she's apparently a special Cure carrier. She's like really, so she's like, some of them are kind of not as Cure-y. Anyway, of those, you would die. You, the kid, Coco, we know from the original game, and the researcher all die. Takeshi, interesting case. There is no timeline, I believe, where we actually see him die in the original game from Deep Blue. In the original game, in the Sora route, he doesn't really get antibodies from Tsugumi, but he seems to survive it. Like it's like he just kind of, it doesn't really affect him for the remainder of the game in the Sora route anyway. And the bad ending, he watches you die, but it is unclear what happens to him afterwards. It seems kind of falsely implied that IBF gets destroyed and he gets washed out into the sea. But we know that IBF, the section of IBF that they're in, although it could be destroyed theoretically, as the Coast Guard describes, just happens to not be. Unless there's like some non-causal, route switch, like, in Ever17 with the stealing of the money. Not Ever17, Never 7. In the Saki route where people steal their money and it's like only in the Saki route. And that would have nothing to do with it. But it's not necessarily super clear that Takeshi dies from the Deep Blue specifically. And no one dies in the Tsugumi route and the Koko route, except Koko. So we don't have a timeline for Takeshi dies of it. We don't have any from the original from the remake either. So if you look at that, okay, so we have 5 people. 4 out of the 5 die. That's 80%. And we have one that's unclear whether he dies or not. He would have died or not. But it seems like he almost wouldn't. Like Takeshi would survive. Well, it'd be the 15% who survived Deep Blue. So that's about right. It's about 80%. You know, that's close enough to 85% you can get with such a small sample size. Wow, I don't know why I went through all that. Let's do everything we can from here on out. It doesn't seem that Koko will be able to move for a while. We've got to forget about escaping in the submarine for now. The situation in IBF might be different from Lemieux. There might be other survivors. We might find other escape routes. Plus, communication might be difficult. It would be wise to gather as much information as possible about Chief Blau. Time is running out, but as long as time allows, we should explore our options in order to survive. Everyone agrees that Tsugumi and I should investigate IBF. You, having the most medical knowledge among us, stays in the medical room with the boy and Pee-Pee to watch over Koko and the researcher. Being in an unfamiliar location with no navigation system to guide us, Tsugumi and I stick together. We explore as much as we can of IBF. Although, there are very few places we can go. Most of the corridors have already been closed off. Some doors simply won't open. When we forcefully open the door to one room, an abnormal stench fills the air, so we quickly close the door. Looking through the small gap, we see several dead researchers with their hands at their throats covered in blood. I don't want to think about what happened here. It isn't hard to imagine that an emergency situation equivalent to or worse than what happened in Lemieux had occurred here too. They just seem to kind of gloss over. While you would think that 15% of the researchers would have survived, how did they get out of here? I mean, the only thing left to find was dead bodies. You might go, well, those 2 left in the sub Andromeda. Well, they didn't necessarily survive. I mean, they could have been infected with Chief Blau and died afterwards. So, I don't know. It just kind of glosses over that whole thing. So I guess I should too. It isn't hard to imagine an emergency situation equivalent or worse than what happened in Lemieux had occurred here too. All of these escape pods here have been launched as well. They happen to be the same style, okay. Perhaps because I've already witnessed some gruesome scenes, I don't feel as hopeless as before. I just feel empty. Another room is completely empty with several computer terminals inside and happens to look by chance like exactly the same as the control room in Lemieux. Tsugumi operates one of the terminals. Most of the data has been deleted. Would it be has or had in that case? I think it's like you can use either one, right? Because it's in the condition of being deleted or someone had deleted it in the past. Both are the same information. The way I talk, because I would say it has been deleted, not had been deleted. It's just the way I talk. Might be confusing to people trying to learn English. It was probably related to confidential research. Nevertheless, a few personal files have been left behind. It's a researcher's diary. The file's name reads Yagami. The date is May 1st. How many times has it been now? So it's not Yoiki because it's Yagami. This might be Koko's dad. It's truly heart-wrenching to treat my own daughter as a sample, but I can't bear the thought of others treating my daughter as a lab rat either. Did we see this in the Sora route in Japanese? What in the... Still, my daughter says she's happy to live together with me. I can't help but feel sorry for her. If only my daughter didn't have such power. If only I weren't a neuroscientist. If only I weren't conducting research on the third perspective. TY. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, so we probably didn't read this in the Sora route, and I probably didn't forget it. This is what would lead Tsugumi to believe that the researcher in the pod is Coco's dad. And why she misinterpret, please take care of my daughter. Or daughters, there's no plurals in Japanese, which makes that work well, doesn't it, right? It's unclear if he has 2 daughters or 1. Although it could be 2 either way. Is she would think that's this person, right? Because the name's linked. In the original game, you don't have this. And so it's unclear why. Well, it's not unclear. Tsugumi also says that she thinks that the researcher is Coco's dad, but that's probably because that's the only researcher she would have known of. Like maybe it's possible that Tsugumi doesn't know that Yu's dad also worked for Leiblich. She didn't pick that up, even though Takeshi knows that. She doesn't really get along well with Yu, and so that's like the link up she can make. Like, this guy claims to have a daughter. We know that one of the researchers has the daughter. It's Coco. Perhaps he's Coco's dad, right? But this makes it more. This gives her more reason because it links the initials TY to stuff about Coco. Although it may not necessarily be clear how Tsugumi would know that stuff's about Coco, to us as the readers, we know instantly, oh, that's about Coco. And we do that by linking sort of it to Remember 11, where we know that Leiblich already knew about the third eye, and would also know that those who could see the future might be able to do it by means of it and all that junk. And Coco seems to know the future because she tells stories that seem to suggest that she knows what's happening in the future. And she's communicating with people in the future verbally, right? There's no reason to believe that she necessarily started doing that just this instance. Yes, there is, because this is the instance that summons Blinkwinkle because of the coincidence. I don't know. Talking out of my butt and messing up there. Yeah, I would have actually thought this would be the first time those powers would manifest, because this is the situation that causes it, right? She would have to be in a situation like this before. So I don't know why I said there wouldn't be any reason why to believe this is the first time. It could have been the first time, right? But also could have not been. I exchanged glances with Tsugumi. We must have both realized this is about Coco. We must have both already played the entire game. We can't find any other people alive in IBF. We all returned to the medical room together. You, how are things looking?
今のところは大丈夫だよ。
Also, if anybody's watching this who has not played the original game, which again I don't know what will you be doing here, but no, that is not in the original game. I think that's probably clear from what I said earlier, because I said that Tsugumi would have less to go on, in assuming the researcher was Coco's dad. But yeah, just to be clear, and also to be clear, no, we know from the Sora route, which you already did, that the researcher is Yu's dad. And they are not siblings. They are 2 separate people. The names are different too. But we haven't got the name of the researcher yet, so... No, we do, because we did the U route in Japanese. So if you watch that, which you have to watch the Japanese parts, which you may not have, then what I've played, at least in some version of this game so far, that's the remake script, it would have told you that Yu's name is Yoiki, and so Yagami and Yoiki are different people. So far, everything seems fine. Looking tired, Yu is sitting in a chair facing the control panel of the hyperbaric chamber. I peered at the biometric monitor attached to the chamber. Blood pressure, pulse, respiration, everything seems to be stabilizing.
そうだ、倉成。やっぱり カプセルポットの中の研究員もココと同じティーフブラウに感染していたわ。
Oh, a Kuranari. Seems like the researcher inside the other chamber is infected with Teeth Blau, just like Coco. What'd you say? That means the researchers we saw earlier covered in blood.
あと、ティーフブラウについて医療関連のデータベースも確認したんだけど。
Also, I checked the medical database about Teeth Blau. You hesitates. Did you find anything?
やっぱりティーフブラウの治療法、決定的なものはまだ発見されていないみたい。
Well, it seems like there still isn't a definitive treatment for Teeth Blau.
今行っている対処療法しかないみたい。
The only treatment available seems to be for control of symptoms.
あとは確率の低い自然治癒を待つしか方法はないらしいの。
All we can do is wait for the low probability of natural recovery. I see. That's tough.
え
Huh?
それってどういうこと？
What do you mean by that? As you hesitate, Sugumi answers in her place.
そうね。つまり
In other words,
ココが治るにはココ自身の免疫機能が頑張るしかないってこと。
we have to rely on Coco's own immune system.
あとは祈るしかない。
All we can do now is pray.
そんな
No way.
ココは治らないの？
Is Coco going to get better? The boy looks like he's about to cry. We are not saying that. It's just whether she gets better or not depends on Coco's own will to live. The boy walks up to Coco's chamber.
ココココ
He clings to the chamber as if embracing it, tears streaming down his face.
あのポットがココをどれだけ助けてくれるかも未知数なの。
We don't know how much this chamber will help Coco. Yu is gazing at the biosensor reading is on the monitor.
高圧酸素治療の他にもレーザーでの殺菌やら簡単な手術のできる機能も備わってるらしいし。
In addition to high pressure oxygen therapy, it seems to have functions like laser sterilization and even simple surgeries.
使い方によってはハイバネーションすら可能のようだけど。
Depending on how it's used, it seems it can even induce cold hibernation. Why did they need to translate that English word to another English word? I'm not sure.
ハイバネーション？
Hibernation. Oh, there's no cold. Okay. Can induce hibernation. Hibernation? Hibernation here means what, you?
コールドスリープ。冬眠のことよ。
Like cold sleep. Why did they switch them? If they were gonna just say hibernation anyway, why did they translate hibernation to sleep in the first place? Like hibernation. You answered as if it were obvious. Hibernation? Which the Japanese here would have said cold sleep. Wait, isn't that what bears and frogs do? Bears and frogs do cold sleep?
そう。
It is. Things got really mixed up here. I don't know. Whatever.
ハイバネーション機能があるってことは、つまり人工冬眠ができるってことだと思うわ。
Okay, the chambers have a probably cold sleep function, which means they can induce artificial hibernation. Probably. One of these two hibernations is a cold sleep.
冬眠のスイッチを入れる人工タンパク質を注入して、
If you activate the switch, it injects artificial proteins.
人間の体を6度から7度ぐらいの低体温状態に保って、心拍数と呼吸数をギリギリまで減らす。
And then maintains the body temperature at approximately 6 to 7 degrees Celsius, resulting in the heart and respiratory rate to reducing the heart and respiratory rate to the bare minimum. That would also kill you, but we'll ignore that.
そうすることによって代謝効率を下げてエネルギーを極力消費しないようにするんだって。
By doing that, you can reduce metabolic demand and minimize energy consumption.
まあ、もうすぐ沈んでしまうここでは無用の長物ってやつだけど。
Well, in this sinking place, it's useless. Except it wouldn't be useless. It wouldn't if it was useless, they would not have brought it up and gave this big, long, complicated explanation for it. Yu slowly raises her head from the manual.
とにかく今は信じて待つしかないわ。
Anyway, for now, all we can do is believe and wait. Beep. An alarm sounds from the monitor on the control panel. Everyone simultaneously focuses on the screen. The boy also runs over. Displayed on the face of the researcher, contorted in agony. Displayed as the face of the researcher, contorted in agony. He's thrashing as if in a frenzy inside the chamber. Sir? Might be, I don't know what... Nice to know what honorific Takeshi's using there. What kind of, like, what's he calling him Oji-san? He coughs violently, scratching at his throat. His hands and mouth are stained red. The color drains rapidly from his skin. His breathing has become erratic and he continues to groan.
そんないきなり容体が変わるなんて
This can't be. Why did his condition suddenly change? Sir, stop scratching your throat. You'll tear it open. He slowly withdraws his hands from around his neck. Are you okay? Do I look okay? I'm not sure if the man heard my voice, but he looks towards me.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if that was even a word in Japanese.
君は救助隊じゃなさそうだな。
You don't look like a rescue team. Not you being Kimi?
イーベーフにまだ人がいたのか。あれから6日は経っただろうに。
There are still people alive in IBF, huh? It's been 6 days. Well, we weren't in IBF though, but maybe you could think that, I'm sure.
こいつは驚きだ。
I mean, also, this is odd because in the Sora side, you talk to this man while Tsugumi and Takeshi were out exploring IBF. I guess here he does, she doesn't, because he acts like he's encountering these people for the first time.
すまんな。我々のせいで。
The problem with that is it's unclear how exactly the things that Takeshi, like, paying more attention to Tsugumi over Sora would change that. It's like, this is non-caused route difference. Sorry, this is all our fault. This is the end for me. The researcher barely manages to string together his words. He exhales deeply, but doesn't inhale. I guess I deserve this too. Yu desperately flips through the manual, searching for the control panel. But it proves futile. She can't find any way to save him. Yu slams the manual down. Then she leans her elbows on the panel and covers her face with her hands. That's just a crying. There's no words. Why did it make it translate that into words? She didn't say Kami-sama. She's sobbing quietly. Or it's lowercase god, so it might just be Kami without the sama. Tsugumi and the boy also stare at the monitor. The researcher's vital signs are weakening.
彼の娘を救えただろうか。
Was he able to save his daughter? I'll get back to this later when we're done with this conversation. Save.
娘を頼むぞ。
Save my daughter too, please. Finally, he seems to smile, and he closes his eyes. The alarm sounds as his vital signs diminish to a flat line. We couldn't save him. We couldn't save this unknown man. I reach out to the panel and silence the alarm. So what I was going to say later is, maybe this is like a really supposed to be a really extreme, like, uncaused thing, where literally in the Tsugumi route, it is Coco's dad that's in the pod as opposed to Yu's dad. Even though that would have nothing to do with, like, what Takeshi was doing up in Lumu would have to do nothing to affect that whatsoever. It just is that way. Of course, you don't have to interpret it like that. It just could be like, for some reason, in this timeline, Yoiki decides to mention Yagami in his final words. I don't know why. The reason why it, like, seems to make a little less sense is because, like, he sees you, and he, like, seems to, like, recognize something. Like, he's like, perhaps he managed to save his daughter. And it's like, save my daughter too, please. Well, if he was Yoiki, how would he even recognize you as his daughter? But if it was Yagami, that's kind of weird. What he's trying to say is the daughter was presented to him was you, right? So if he said, perhaps he managed to save his daughter, then somehow he recognizes like you as his daughter and not his own, or something funny. I don't know. The simplest way to interpret this is actually Shueiki again. It's just he says something different. Somehow, for some reason, Yu's disposition is slightly different if his interactions between Takeshi are slightly different due to Takeshi talking to her about Sora and so on. And so she doesn't bother to talk to the researcher in this timeline like she did in the Sora timeline. So the researcher says slightly different. How's Coco?
正常よ。
She's stable. Yu whispers faintly, her trembling voice choked with sobs.
今のところ、ここには問題ないわ。
For now, Coco seems to be okay. Okay, that's a relief. This researcher, no, this man, we need to try and give him a proper burial. Yeah. We all stay pretty still for a while. We've truly witnessed the severity of the situation. But time keeps ticking along. Time won't allow us to remain stagnant. It's almost 4:30 p.m. on May 6th. We remove the deceased researcher from the chamber, lay him on the bed, and offer him a silent prayer. Afterwards, we discuss the situation and unanimously decide to stay in IBF until the last minute to continue Coco's treatment. The customer's Shirval should have finished charging by now. All that's left is to time things just right. It's now 4:43 p.m. on May 6th. Only 14 hours and 17 minutes remain until the collapse. Oh, so we have the subdoc background finally. Okay, so this is we haven't seen this before in the remake, but it is in the remake. You just need to get into Tsugumi's route to do it. That we're in this place with Tsugumi sprite in front of us is an indicator that I succeeded in getting into the Tsugumi ending because I know how the bad ending works and it doesn't go here. The last couple lines I saw were the same as the last couple lines of the bad ending, but then this doesn't happen. So Tsugumi ending, here we go. From the medical room terminal, Tsugumi and I discovered the existence of a submarine docking pool in IBF. We follow the map to see if the submarine is still docked there, and of course it would not be, it has to be moved there. It does look like a large pool. Since IBF was designed for saturation diving, the pool is directly connected to the outside. Yeah, I think, the pool doesn't just merely appear in the Tsugumi route in the original game. It appears in the Sora one too somehow. Like it's like in passing, like, oh, there was a pool. So it's kind of like, I found it kind of odd that when I did the Sora route, the pool wasn't mentioned, the background wasn't there. So I thought maybe the background wasn't there entirely, but it is there. Okay. It seems like we're out of luck. It's just an empty pool.
そのようね。
Looks that way. According to the map, IBF is comprised of 4 identical buildings, each connected by corridors. We appear to be in Area 4. Well, I've already confirmed that from this, what the Coast Guard says when they call in. There are 4 submarine docking pools in IBF, 1 in each building. Well, the way they drew IBF, both in the original game and this one, seemed to suggest that there was 4 sort of clusters and each one had 2 pods. So you could say there's 8 buildings, but whatever. Every corridor from Area 4 to other buildings has been closed off perhaps due to the emergency, or perhaps they're just gone. Even if there happen to be submarines in the other buildings, we can't access them. Can we dock the Cosmosphere Val in this pool? Like, take it down?
どうかしら。広さ的にギリギリみたいだけど、あなたの操縦で無事に乗りつけることができるかしら。
Yeah, but how'd you communicate with Sora? And could Sora do it? Anyway, I wonder, I bet it's just big enough, but can you safely dock it with your piloting skills? I'm not sure. I did read the instruction manual. I do think I can pilot it. But if I were to crash into the facility or something, Lamu might collapse. There doesn't seem to be an immediate solution here at IBF.
そうね。
Yeah.
で、どうするの？
So, what's the plan? Plan? Geez, I'm trying to think of one. Well, this is interesting. This is really interesting. I'm wondering how they're rewriting this. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. How the original game did this was they actually sent Tsugumi and Takeshi back up to Lamu. And they did it by means of Tsugumi being, I forgot Chami in Lamu, I'm going to go back up to get him. Which I always greatly disliked, because it's like, really? Why? You wouldn't... Like, what? Would you really do that? Like, would Tsugumi... I mean, you guys forget things all the time. That's just something that's kind of weird. It's hard to imagine you would actually forget. In the original game, Tsugumi really didn't think she was going to even come back up to Lamu. It wasn't like here where they were going to go down to IBF and then treat Coco and then come back. Their plan was to still use the Cosmosphere Val. They thought there might be just a quickly administratable cure for Deep Blue in IBF, and then they could come back up. In the original game, they went down to IBF for good. So it's even worse for her to just forget Chami in Lamu. So them changing that would make things better, yes. But they might say, oh, well, it makes more sense she left Chami in Lamu because she thought she was going back. I don't know. It also sort of implies that she keeps Chami in her bra all the time. That being said, Chami escapes sometimes, so she isn't really the best at keeping him there.
あなたって本当に悪あがきが好きみたいね。
I guess it's particularly when she's sleeping, right? It's the anesthetic issue that made it so that she couldn't keep track of him and he ran off. It looks like you enjoy struggling in vain. Don't say it's in vain.
ごめんね。でも、
Sorry, but...
皮肉ね。私はこの研究所を破壊しに来たのに。
It's ironic, isn't it? I came here to destroy this laboratory. Oh, that's development. Man, all these lines are really interesting. They changed it. So, again, not in the original game. The original game was actually somewhat unclear why Tsugumi wanted to go to IBF, but she said something about wanting to learn more about Kirei or whatever. But now she's saying she came to destroy it. Makes a little more sense, does it? What?
やっとたどり着いたら、研究所はすでに廃墟同然。
And when I finally arrived, the research facility is already in ruins. It's like, Too bad I didn't get to kill a bunch of people because they were already dead. Is that what she really intended to do? Is like Samson this place? Like just blow. Oh, interesting. I wonder how she planned to do that.
しかもその研究所が今は頼りなんてね。
And now the facility is our only hope.
テーマパークレミューの運営母体ライプリヒ製薬。そのライプリヒが設立した研究施設が EBF。
IBF is a research facility established by Lieblich Pharmaceuticals, the parent company of the Lamu theme park.
ここに限らずライプリヒのラボはどこも軍事を主目的とした限りなく違法性、いえ法に触れる実験や研究を行っているわ。
All of Leiblich's labs, they're all focused on biological warfare, conducting experiments and research that outright violates the law. Again, in the original game, they didn't say Tsugumi knew this. That was true in the original game, but nowhere did we know that Tsugumi knew about this.
個々の感染したウイルスもおそらく EBF が軍事目的で使おうと研究してたに違いないわ。
Now, in the original game, you learns that later after the incident. It's canon, but it wasn't something Tsugumi knew. The virus that infected Coco was probably being researched by IBF for military use.
そんな研究施設を私はこの手で全部破壊してきた。
I've destroyed all of those research facilities with my own hands.
今回もそう。それが私の目的だった。
This time is no different. That is my purpose. Tsugumi?
この前話したでしょ。私が子供の頃入れられていた研究所。
You remember what I told you before, right? The research facility I was put into as a child.
そこもこんな場所だったわ。海の底ではなかったけど。
It was just like this, though it wasn't at the bottom of the sea. Wonder if that audiobook like inspired this, where she like went into a research facility and just like punching scientists. Although she didn't destroy it there, she just kind of beat some people up. Sorry, we like that idea. Let's have Tsugumi be someone who just goes around and just, I don't know what destroying them means. Does she blow them up or something? She kill everybody in them? She have an immensely high body count? It's just like this, though it wasn't at the bottom of the sea.
でも暗いのは同じね。太陽を見られないせいだからかしら。
But the darkness is the same. Maybe because we couldn't see the sun.
ここも私と同じライプリヒのせいで今こうして苦しんでいる。
Coco is just like me, suffering because of Lieblich. Oh. Now you would look at this and you would look at this go as maybe that's the explanation why Tsugumi is so soft with Coco. But then you would kind of naturally think, well, Tsugumi just learned that. Otherwise, why would they put that in there? And then you could go, oh, maybe they put that in there for the reader to discover Tsugumi already knew somehow. She managed to get that information out of Coco somehow. Earlier.
私はココを助けたい。
I want to help Coco.
だから勝負は私の負けでいいわ。あなたを応援する。
So it's okay if I lose our bet. I'll help you. I'll support you. Oh, so maybe she did just learn. Thank you, Tsugumi. I can hear a distant rumbling sound. It seems to be coming from underwater. Is that the sound of hydrothermal vents? Is Lamu still doing all right? Our situation isn't ideal, but we still have some time to think things over. Hey, Tsugumi, about that guy.
研究員の彼、残念だったわね。
The researcher? It's a shame. Yeah, but why was he the only one left here? Everyone else should have already escaped, right? Well, we know from the Sora side that he was working on a way to copy Sora. But Tsugumi probably doesn't know that, doesn't understand that, so she might come up with the wrong theory here. It seems like he missed his chance to escape.
彼には逃げられない事情があったのよ。生き延びるだけの事情も。
There must have been some reason he couldn't escape. Perhaps it was just to survive. A reason?
端末の並んだ部屋で見つけた記録、覚えてる？
Do you remember the records we found in the room with the terminals? Yeah, I was filled with personal info. You don't mean...
気づいた？あの個人ファイル。
Did you notice that personal file? That man is... I see. The researcher who pled with us to save his daughter.
あの研究員こそが、おそらくココの父親だったのよ。
That researcher was probably Coco's father. T.Y. I don't know his full name, but his last name must be Yagami. He probably knew that Coco was at Lemu around the time of the accident.
きっとそうね。
Yeah, most likely. Okay, so Tsugumi makes the same guess as she does in the original game here, and is still probably wrong, unless you're into weird causal, non-causal things.
レミューにいるかもしれないココのことを思って、彼は生き延びたのかもしれない。
He probably stayed behind because he was thinking of how he could help save his daughter. Leaning against the wall, we gazed at the calm waves in the pool. What do you think happened to Coco? How did she get infected with Tief Blau? Well, in the original game... Well... I think in the original game we know that Coco was in Tief Blau, but she doesn't reveal... We don't get to reveal that until the Coco route.
ココは5月1日より以前にも治験協力者として何度か EBF に降りている記録が残っているわ。
Well, Tsugumi knows stuff. Okay. Well, there are records showing that Coco had visited IBF as a clinical trial participant even before May 1st.
その時すでに EBF で研究していたティーフブラウイルスが漏れていたとしたら。
Perhaps the Tief Blau virus that IBF was researching had leaked by then. Okay, so we learned that in the Coco before we get to the Coco route here. Okay, cool. What do you mean?
ティーフブラウの潜伏期間は2日から7日。ココの発症のタイミングからしてもそれなら辻褄が合うんじゃない？
The incubation period for Tief Blau is 2 to 7 days. Considering the timing of Coco's symptoms, wouldn't that make sense? Yeah, you're right. Coco must have been infected with Tief Blau somehow when she visited IBF before. I nod. That's the most plausible explanation.
ただし EBF の連中も悪魔のウイルスで汚染されていることには気づかなかった。
Even the IBF staff didn't realize they were infected with the virus.
気づいた時はもう手遅れね。感染者は爆発的に増えていき、内部は大パニック。想像するだけで恐ろしいわ。
By the time they noticed, it was too late. The number of infected exploded, causing panic inside. Just imagining it makes me shudder. Right, and they all tried to escape up the cargo elevator, right? And they didn't follow proper procedures, and they blew up Lemu. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tsugumi has empathy there, right? She'd be like, oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to be those people. But then she came here to wipe them out, didn't she?
確実に待っている死から逃れようと、限りある脱出ポットを奪い合って、我先にと逃げ出すスタッフたち。
Desperate staff fighting over limited escape pods to flee from the inevitable death awaiting them.
B 級映画も真っ青の現代版タイタニック号の悲劇ってとこかしらね。
It's not a modern version of the Titanic, if not worse. Gotta mention the Titanic, of course, if you're trying to make something that's like an Uchikoshi game, but is not. Wait a minute, if that's true, that alarm, the one we heard in Lemu on May 1st. I interrupt her, unable to contain myself. Tsugumi continues, brow furrowed.
錯乱したスタッフの誰かが搬入用エレベーターを使って EBF から地上に脱出しようとした。
Some panicked staff member tried to escape from IBF to the surface using the freight elevator.
そして気圧を調整しないまま強引に搬入用エレベーターの扉を開けてしまった。
And without adjusting the pressure, they forcibly opened the doors of the elevator.
それで前に空が説明したような事故が複合的に発生したとしたら、
Which may have caused a complex accident like the one Sora explained. That's why we got trapped.
ええ、そうよ。
Yes, that is correct.
つまりレミューで聞いたあの警報は
So the alarm we heard in Lamu,
エレベーターの事故とウイルスの漏洩、二重の意味があって発令された。
it,
そう考えられるわね。
it signified two different accidents. The elevator accident and the virus leakage. It's possible, isn't it? I think in the original game, though, wasn't it only the virus leakage? It's, yeah. But we'll continue. Because, like, after, like, they ordered to evacuate, then things went, like, kablooey. Like, several, like, it was, like, hours later or something. Unbelievable. I can't help but sigh. No wonder no rescue teams came here.
おそらくそのせいね。
Well, there's two reasons why. One is they didn't want to get IBF. The second is, eventually, well, it would have been, well, according to, there's an implication here that they didn't know that Leiblich didn't know that Tsugumi was in here until, day 3. When that happened, they wouldn't want people going in here because they wanted to get their hands on her. But this doesn't explain day 1 and 2, right? Tsugumi nods, her expression grim.
ティーフ・ブラウンが外の世界に漏れてしまっては大変なことになる。
If T. Flau leaked into the outside world, it would be Taihen. Which gonna try to translate as catastrophic. Could say it would be tough.
たとえ生存者がいようとも施設ごと海の中に閉じ込めるしかなかった。
Even if there were survivors, they had no choice but to seal the facility underwater.
もしかしたらライプリヒ製薬が事故自体を隠蔽しようとしているのかもしれないわね。
Maybe Leiblich Pharmaceuticals is trying to cover up the accident itself.
私たちがここにいることを知りながらね。
All the while knowing that we are here.
そう考えると外部と連絡が取れないのも空の言っていたジャミングなんかもそれで説明がつくんじゃないかしら。
Thinking about it, the lack of external communication and the jamming Sora mentioned could be explained by that too. Well, in this route, we don't see that Sora was actually trying to kill everybody at one point. So, they wouldn't know in this route, but that was the case as well, for the reader at least. Which also makes sense, just cover it up by killing everybody. Damn it. I got stuck up in some terrible science fiction thing, just trying to go on, like, a mandate with my 3 men, because 2 men would look gay, so I gotta go with 3 men to an amusement park. I got wound up in some chemical warfare nonsense. Or biological warfare nonsense. I kick a rusty bullet lying at my feet. It falls into the pool with a splash and slowly sinks. After that, we start heading back to the medical room. On the way back, I purposely stomp my feet. My footsteps echo in the narrow corridor. Well, I know what I have to do now. What is it? Do what? What's the plan? That should be obvious. I'm determined to get back to the surface no matter what. But how, though?
どうして？
Huh? Why is that? Whether it's through TV, the internet, or whatever, I'll expose the truth to the world. I'll hold nothing back. I may not be able to crush Leiblich Pharmaceuticals, but I won't rest until I've settled the score. Coco, Sora, the boy, and you too, Tsugumi. Everyone has suffered because of them.
難しいわよ。
That'll be difficult. Why's that?
マスコミだって商売よ。新聞、テレビ、週刊誌。これらは広告料で成り立っている側面もあるわ。
The mass media is also a business. Newspapers, TV, weekly magazines, they also rely on advertising revenue. It's not really very realistic about this, Tsugumi. If you have this massive scoop you can dump, right? that increases your popularity enough, increases the prices for other people to advertise on your stuff enough, and the desire to do so enough. You can make money off of that just the same. Or better.
ライプリヒ製薬はそれらマスコミの大スポンサーだとしたら
What if Lieblich Pharmaceuticals is a big, it would be like big, right? It's die, right? Well, major is also like a reasonable translation. Major sponsor of these media outlets. That means
ペンは剣には強いけどスポンサーには弱いってことね
the pen might be mightier than the sword, but it's weak against sponsors.
だから私は一人で戦ってきたわ
That's why I've been fighting this battle alone. I see. In that case, how about fighting together next time, you and me?
二人
Do you really want to go around killing people, Takeshi? Together? Yes, side by side.
あなたも私と一緒に
You and me? Together? Sumi's face suddenly turns red. No good?
別にダメじゃない
I didn't say that! Her face turns even redder. Huh? Suddenly feeling uneasy, I stop. I look up at the ceiling.
どうしたの
What's wrong? Sugumi followed my gaze and looks at the ceiling. There's nothing there. She turns her gaze to me. Well, I guess I feel a little suffocated all of a sudden.
あなた
You!
あなた鼻血が
Your nose is bleeding. Huh?
鼻血が出てる
Your nose is bleeding. What? I hastily wipe my nose. It smells like iron. Watery blood is dripping out of my nose.
ちょっと大丈夫
Hey, are you okay? It's like, wait, are you okay? Tsugumi peers at my face with concern. I'm fine. Oh, I put under my nose while keeping my head tilted back. Now I want you to know that I wasn't thinking about anything inappropriate. Absolutely not. I absolutely wasn't.
こんな時に何バカなこと言ってるの
Don't say baka things at a time like this. Yeah, you're right. Firstly, to stop the bleeding, I need a tissue. I thrust my hand into my pocket, searching for tissues. So relatable. Did I put one in here earlier, not use it, and then forget I did? And it would be the case if I didn't need it now and use it, it would end up in the laundry. Meanwhile, blood continues to slowly trickle down. Gosh, this is pretty embarrassing.
格好なんかどうでもいいじゃない
Who cares? You're dying. Nosebleeds are just so embarrassing. Well, it's not as embarrassing as pooping yourself.
ちょっと
Wait.
ね
Hey.
ねえあなた大丈夫
Are you okay? Achoo! I sneeze loudly. Red! Yeah, there we go. The walls of the floor around me are now splattered with red. Blood fills my mouth. I taste iron. I don't know what the Japanese is. The English they wrote is kind of realistic. It's aw shit. Age restricted. I feel dizzy suddenly. My vision starts spinning. I'm so dizzy. I start feeling a bit nauseous, but for some reason it seems absurdly funny. It's kind of also absurdly funny how much, like, Japanese people, like, are not adverse to using taboo words in English. I could go around learning Japanese and using taboo words in Japanese with Japanese people. Even in the writing. Anyway. I find myself laughing for some reason. Yeah, what the hell is this?
ちょっと
Wait.
あなたしっかりしなさいよ
Pull yourself together. Sugumi shakes me by the shoulders. Stop shaking me. I'm starting to feel sick.
ごめん
Sorry. Don't worry, I'm fine. Just a little tired.
全然大丈夫じゃない
You are not fine at all. Which is a very accurate translation of that. Zenzen daijoubu janai.
あなた血まみれじゃないのよ
You are covered in blood.
早く医務室に戻りましょうすぐ見てもらった方がいいわ
Let's hurry back to the infirmary. We need to get you checked out. Yeah, you're right. Cough. Shiver. The strange drunken feeling begins to fade, replaced by a growing chill. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Warui desu. Yo. With Tsugumi's support, I make my way down the corridor. Although that's probably not the same word for bad they use there. Because warui is kind of like bad behavior kind of bad. It's like sin. Not necessarily like I'm dying kind of bad. And as soon as we enter the medical room, Yu rushes over.
つぐみ、くらなり、少年が大変なの
Tsugumi Kuranari, mixing first names and last names, I see. The boy is in trouble. Her face is stark white.
少年がどうしたの
The boy, what happened?
大変なのよとにかく
He's in trouble, we gotta...
まさか、くらなりもなの
No way, you too, Takeshi? It's not skippable, by the way. Yu looks at me and pales even further.
くらなりも
Takeshi also? What's going on? The boy's lying on the ELEM ARE table.
おかえり、たけし。
Welcome back, Takeshi. He greets me weakly. Yo. I try to return his greetings with some cheer, but I can't. The diagnosis results of the boy are displayed on the monitor of the control room. Teeth Blau, 2017, Revision 17.
少年もティーフ・ブラウンに感染してる
The boy is also infected with Teeth Blau. I saw this coming. What Tsugumi and I were speculating on earlier has unfortunately been confirmed. That there has been a biohazard emergency within IBF and that Coco was infected with Teeth Blau. Following that speculation, we should have realized that we've already been infected with Teeth Blau. But the truth is terrifying. Perhaps that's why no one had undergone scanning until now.
あなたもスキャンを受けて
You should get scanned too. Why? It's already obvious. I got blood all over me. I already know I have Teeth Blau. I don't need it in text. I don't need that extra radiation from the scan to tell me what I already know. And then it was not wishful thinking because it's bad news. Is it because of the dizziness or because of knowing the truth is so frightening? For some reason, I have a strange notion that if I don't undergo the scan, then I won't be infected.
スキャンを受けなさい
Sketchy thinks differently than me, apparently. You need to be scanned. Of course, I knew that. I've already read this. Or a slightly different version of this. Not this exactly, of course.
いきなり鼻と口から血を吹くなんて普通じゃないわ
It's not normal to suddenly start bleeding from your nose and mouth. Well, that is true, but... I look at Tsugumi's face. She looks like she's on the verge of tears. All right. Leaning against the nearby wall, I watch as Yu and Tsugumi help the unsteady boy from the LEM ARE to a nearby chair. I stumble over the empty LEM ARE and just lay down. I'm ready here, please begin.
OK ユウスキャンをお願い
All right. You, scan, please. Grunting noise. You operates the control panel. The diagnostic scanner quickly moves over my body as I lie there. A needle pricks my arm, drawing blood. And then... The results of the scan appear on the monitor, which you and Tsugumi are staring at. From where I am laying, I can't see the results. What are the results? My voice is trembling slightly. Say something, you!
結果は
The results. You doesn't move as she stares at the panel.
結果は黒ねあなたやっぱり感染しているわ
The results. It appears you are infected.
残念だけど
Unfortunately. I see.
EBF に来てうんずっと以前から海中のレミューにいた頃から
Ever since coming to IBF. No, even since our days at Undersea Lamu.
私たち全員とっくの昔にティーフ・ブラウンに感染していたのよ
All of us, we've been infected with Teeth Blau for a while now. Tsugumi bows her head and lets out a deep sigh. Damn it. I get up from the LEM ARE. However, I'm immediately hit with a severe dizzy spell. Whoa now.
たけし、危ない
Takeshi, danger. The boy instinctively catches me as I fall. I fall. Hey, sorry, boy. But the boy himself seems unsteady on his feet. He leans against the wall trying to support himself.
困ったもんだね。
Well, this is quite the predicament. The boy laughs awkwardly. I guess it is. I smile back at him.
ほら少年、倉成、こっちへ来なさい。オレンジアンプルを注射するから。
Hey, Takeshi the boy, come over here. I'm going to inject you with the contents of this orange vial. Inject?
注射、
Inject?
困ったもんだね。
Oh no. Oh no, indeed. Once again, we exchange glances and chuckle at each other's predicament. Only because it's you. Ow.
ほら男でしょ。こんなの我慢しなさい。
Come on, you're a man, aren't you? Toughen up a bit. With merciless precision, you jabs the needle into both the boy and me, administering the medication. Well, I guess we can relax for a while. I say this as I press a cotton ball to the injection site. It's like, you know those people that, like, demand to have a woman nurse? According to my, argue about how old he is, my phlebotomy instructor, there actually is, like, a correlation. Like, female phlebotomists tend to have steadier hands. It's unclear why that is, but he claims it's actually true. There's actually some sort of real physical thing going on there. That's a little bit different than a nurse, right? But, yeah. However, I have been having injections from male nurses and female nurses, and I didn't actually see any pattern. Sometimes the female nurse is worse. I don't know. But it's like, in this case, it's like the opposite of what you want. I feel a little calmer after receiving the medication. Thanks, you. I give her a thumbs up.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome.
サンキュー、ユー。
Thank you, you. We're going to translate the thank you into thanks. For some reason. The boy, sitting on the bed, mimics me and also gives you a thumbs up.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome. You replies with her own thumbs up. The boy smiles faintly, closes his eyes, and leans back. I can hear his breathing slow down. Looks like he fell asleep almost immediately. So how's Coco doing?
まだ高圧酸素治療の最中よ。ポットを開けることはできないわ。
She's still undergoing high-pressure oxygen therapy. We can't open the chamber yet.
治療は今のところ順調かな。安定しているから、症状の急激な悪化はないと思うけど。
The treatment seems to be going well so far. She's stable, so I don't think her symptoms will suddenly get worse.
アンプルも、もう打ったしね。
And we've already administered the medication. Yeah, but just to be safe, shouldn't you receive the injection too, you? We have 5 vials, enough for everyone. It's better if everyone gets one.
いや、私は。
Huh, well, For some reason, you hesitates. Suddenly, you starts to cough. Are you okay?
平気。これは持病だから、注射なんか必要ないわ。
It's fine. It's just my chronic condition. I don't need an injection. As she speaks, Yu takes out her medicine. Yu coughs again, and her hand covering her mouth is smeared with blood. Just look at you. Hurry up and give yourself the injection.
嫌だよ。
No. Is it hard for you to do it to yourself? Should Tsugumi or I do it for you?
違うの。私、注射苦手なの。
No, it's not that. I'm just bad with needles. What? Come on, you were just going nuts jabbing people, weren't you?
自分がされるのは嫌なのね。
You don't like it when it's done to you, huh?
そうなの。痛いの嫌なの。だから勘弁して。
Yeah, I don't like pain, so please spare me. You pouts cutely in protest? Hey, this is a life or death situation. What the hell are you thinking? Even in this situation, I can't help but be amazed.
まったく、しょうがないわね。それじゃあ私が打つわ。
I guess there's no helping it. All right, I'll do it.
え？
Huh?
あなた、ユウの腕を押さえててくれない？
Takeshi, could you hold Yu's arm for me like you do with the toddler? Roger. Grab. I firmly hold Yu's shoulder and arm to keep her from moving it.
ちょっと何です。痛い。
Hey, what are you? Ouch!
それじゃ行くわよ。
All right, here you go. Here we go. Sumi inserts the needle and depresses the plunger. And then...
痛い、死んじゃうよ。痛いよ、痛いよ。
It hurts, it hurts, I'm gonna die.
もう終わったわよ。
We're already done.
いつ撃ったの？
Huh, when? Yu's understandably surprised. Sumi had almost instantly administered a perfectly painless injection.
すごい。全然痛くなかった。
Wow, it didn't hurt at all. It didn't hurt? Then what was all the fuss about? I almost let this slip. Yeah, she was saying it before the needle went in, and then she didn't stop saying it until after the needle came out.
けど、つぐみ、あんたどこかで注射の特訓でもしたの？
Sumi, have you learned how to give injections somewhere?
ただの見よう見まねよ。毎日毎日、何回も打たれていたから。
It's just from watching others. I've had injection after injection. Every day, every day. Sumi looks into the distance. Then Yu also undergoes a scan in the LEMARE and is confirmed to be infected with teeth plow. I peek at the monitor. Tsugumi comes over and we both look at it.
小康状態ってとこね。
It seems to be stable. Yeah. According to the monitor's display, there is still 4 hours left until Coco can come out of the chamber. The chamber is filled with pressurized pure oxygen. Until the time comes, we can't take Coco out. The boy sits beside Coco's chamber. The boy coughs. I guess the medication does provide only temporary relief.
少年もポットに入ってもらった方がいいんじゃない？
Wouldn't it be better for you to get into a chamber too, boy?
嫌だよ。僕はココのそばにいたいんだ。
Also, that could delay you being able to get out of here. That's a problem. But anyway, no, I want to be by Coco's side, is what he says. Yeah, I guess with the collapse, by the time you came out of the chamber, it'd all be over. Okay, Takeshi's thinking like me here. I leave the chamber and go to where Yu's wrestling with the terminal. How's it going, Yu? Making any progress? Yu is pounding away at the computer terminal in silence. Hey, Yu, what's up?
ああ、もう話しかけないでよ。気が散る。
Now, come on, don't talk to me. It's distracting. Oh, okay then.
空のバックアップから当たりをつけていたけど、ビンゴね。
I've been keeping an eye on things using Sora's backup data and bingo.
やっぱり EBF からインゼルヌルへのラインが生きているみたい。
It seems like the line from IBF to Incel Null is still alive after all.
誰かが通信システムにロックをかけて、ここから外に連絡できなくしてるようだけど。
Someone seems to have locked the communication system, preventing us from contacting the outside.
でも、時々、外からノイズがひどいけど、音声データが入ってくるのを見つけたから。
But sometimes, despite the noise, they manage to pick up some audio data coming in.
システムロックを解除できれば、もしかしたら、外とちゃんと通じるようになるかもしれない。
If we can unlock the system, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to communicate with the outside world. Having some means of contact with the outside world gives us more hope than we had before. If we can successfully establish contact and arrange for medical treatment on the surface, we can escape immediately on the whale.
オレンジアンプルがもっとあれば、今すぐ脱出しても、まだなんとかなるかもだけど。
If we had more orange vials, we might have been able to escape right now, but we don't know how effective they are, so it's better to be in IBF where high-pressure oxygen therapy is available.
それに、一般には名前さえ知られていないティーフ・ブラウの治療が、最新の施設や技術のある EBF 以外でできるのかわからないわ。
And I don't know if Teeth Plow can be successfully treated outside of IBF. Right, that was like a motivation. We gotta get out of here quickly because we gotta get medical treatment for Coco. But now it's like, we can't. We're not really sure it's most likely, actually, that there is no thing we can do for Coco that we can't here that would be helpful. And we take the Teeth Plow everyone has and spread it all over the place. There's only... Well, that's already been done by... So, what difference does it make at this point, maybe? There are only 5 orange vials here in IBF. We were lucky. That there were 5 vials of medication, one for each of us. I casually glance at the desk. There's 1 orange vial left. Huh? Why is there 1 vial left? Vial in hand, I hold it up in front of me. I suddenly have a question.
Huh?
What? Yu also turns around from the terminal. The boy also turns around. Everyone's gaze focuses on the single vial in my hand. And then their gazes shift to Tsugumi.
何言ってるのよ。
What are you talking about?
そのアンプルはココの分でしょ。
That file is for Coco, isn't it? Well, you forgot you already gave Coco one. It was written explicitly. Tsugumi murmurs, her expression slightly cloudy.
ねえ、つぐみ、私、あなたに注射をまだしてないわよね。
Well, Tsugumi would have used it as a second one for Coco, right? Hey, Tsugumi, you haven't been injected yet, have you?
それが、どうしたっていうの？
What is the issue? She's avoiding eye contact.
ココに初めに注射して、少年とクララニに注射して、その後私が注射されて。
I injected Coco first, then the boy, then Takeshi, and then I got mine.
だから、5つあったアンプルは、1つだけ残ってる。
So out of the 5 original vials, there's 1 left. Standing up for the terminal, you sound stern.
つぐみ、体調はどうなの？
Tsugumi, how are you feeling?
辛くないの？
Don't you feel strange? Come to think of it, Tsugumi hasn't shown any symptoms. The symptoms of the Tiefblau virus haven't appeared in her. I recall Tsugumi's words from before. I mean, I am a monster that can't die and all. It can't be.
スキャンを受けてつぐみ。今すぐに。
We're scanning you, Tsugumi, now. Yu's staring at Tsugumi, looking serious.
わかったわ。
Okay. Looking determined, Tsugumi heads for the alien ARE. No mention of Coco for some reason here. The diagnostic results appear. The diagnosis is displayed. On the Sora side, they have like Tsugumi look at Coco in the pod, and then after doing that, then she decides to get scanned. They skipped that here on the Tsugumi side. Yeah, it isn't Tiefblau 2017 revision 17. What appears on the screen is Cure, virus P carrier. Cure, a disease that confers abilities beyond that of an ordinary human. Believe in something and wish for it, and it'll come true. The text displayed on the monitor is like a quote from the report of some laboratory, not registered in the regular database. And why does it have old school Cure in it? It's a virus that with previously unknown carbon isotopes. As someone who has taken organic chemistry and is a physicist of sorts, I have a degree in physics that makes me like sort of a physicist, right, if you have the degree. It really bothers me how you are attributing chemical properties to a substance based on the nuclear properties. I hate reading sci-fi like this, which rewrites the DNA of cells it has infected. It mimics cells and goes dormant. Organisms on Earth are carbon-based life forms. Yes, and DNA cells, everything is made of carbon compounds. It's a nitrogenous basis, but whatever. The Cure virus theoretically can create any carbon compound and bond them more robustly than normal carbon compounds. No, a virus contains nucleic acids, which, when they are delivered into the cytoplasm of a cell via how the capsule of the virus breaks open the cell membrane and spills the contents inside, will spontaneously be clamped down on by a ribosome and translated into a protein which can be used to build viruses. Also, some of them will transcribe reverse transcriptase, which reverse transcribes the RNA if they have RNA virus opposed to a DNA virus, the DNA and all that stuff. Proteins are not any carbon compound. They are a specific kind of carbon compound. I know they're not going to bond any different if you have more neutrons in the nucleus. Because gravity is so small in strength compared to the electromagnetic force that when you add more neutrons into a nucleus to get a different isotope, you don't change the shape and size of the orbitals. Like practically at all of the electrons. Okay, we're going to have to save here. I'll get back to this later.